Hey, what up? It's Brad with Home Love Construction. What you're about to watch is a conversation between a bunch of contractors talking about the state of the current construction environment. Enjoy.
We're here today at Kemp Rouge and Green offices with some wonderful individuals that know everything about construction. And Brad was supposed to be here to start this off, but he's not here. Skinny jeans, man bun, golf, Drake Mile Hop, they're playing Play-Doh, or I don't know what they're doing together, but they're not here. But we're here. Check out everyone here doing their job and doing what we're supposed to do. So thanks, Brad, for not being here on time.
All right, so today we're here and we got a group of our friends here together that are all in the same industry. And the point of this video is going to be to build trust, mainly trust with our clients, and just to relate to everybody out there that the issues that we are facing, some are more recent, some are just inherent to the job, but they are real. They're not excuses. They may come across that way when they're coming from the person that you've hired, who may or may not have had a salesperson that relayed some of these things to you, but at the end of the day, they are real things that happen on a job. Most of them are out of our control. Some of them are within our wheelhouse of things that we could have prevented, but somehow didn't. But at any rate, we wanted to get through to everybody and understand that this is real, and that the point we're trying to make is that we do work to do a good job for everybody every time, but sometimes shit happens.
There you go.
Jeff, I'd like to say that I think that what today is really about is also setting reasonable expectations. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are estimating on projects and they tell people half the story. And then after they get some money from the people, then they're gonna reveal the rest as time goes, and as things unfold, that customer's gonna become more and more disturbed by change orders, that big scary word, change orders. There shouldn't be change orders on a job. Quite frankly, contractors, if they're doing good, are not excited about change orders, because it means that I've got to stop what I'm doing, go back to the store, buy new materials, come back to the job, regroup, start all over again. There's nothing profitable about change orders. Change orders to me are really when a contractor failed to consider all the possibilities and all the hazards that might come up on that job. So I think today is really just about, again, setting reasonable expectations for people on what's going to happen with a project. You know, what's happening in the world today with respect to materials, what's happening in the world today with respect to challenges and setbacks that we might be faced with that are out of our control.
Yeah, I love it. I want to touch on something though in regards to change orders, and I know you can chime in on this as well, brother, that sometimes if you're not working with the same people all the time, it could cause some confusion. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is we're working on a project right now where it's the first time we ever worked with a specific engineer. Now, although we read his plans and so forth, when it came time to fruition, putting the framing together, it was not what we expected at all. I want you to touch on that really quick in regards to how we had to make changes and adjustments in the field because of someone else's engineering issue.
Right, and basically, regardless if you use your own engineer, or your own architect, draftsman, whatever it may be, or the client hires their own, they aren't necessarily out in the field. You know, they come in, they do their drawings, everything looks good on paper, but it's kind of like a guideline. We go out and we have to figure it all out, lay it out, and make things work. Just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean anything. We just finished a job now, or we're in the middle of the job. One section of the house is being rebuilt and literally ended up 2 feet short from the rest, perfectly according to plans, but it didn't work out. We had to stop the job, make the adjustments and make the customer happy. But at the end of the day, those problems aren't directly our fault. They're not your fault. They're not anyone's fault ultimately, but the things that comes up and you have to fix them.
We just have to deal with them.
You have to deal with them. It doesn't matter. You can sit and complain about them all day, or you can just fix the problems. And nobody wants issues. None of us make any money by having issues. So we're dependent upon other people, and let's be honest. If everyone did their jobs properly, there'd be no need for contractors, all right? Or you could do it yourself. So everything that we've worked for, putting resources together, putting them into position to, execute the job properly, it leads to a great final product.
Everybody that we meet has heard a horror story about a contractor before, right?
100%.
I mean, everybody's heard a horror story. And do I believe that there's that many bad contractors out there? Not so much as I believe that these guys were good guys with good intentions, but they were poor at communicating. They were poor at documenting.
Correct.
They were poor at drawing the clear lines between what is included and what's still going to be an extra item to be purchased. And it's when they don't communicate that well enough that people feel uncomfortable throughout the life cycle of the project. And once they get uncomfortable to start with, they're going to start questioning everything about the project throughout. It can be miserable. So really, again, setting expectations, drawing clear lines, documenting well, making sure that everybody knows what are they getting themselves into and what is it really going to cost.
Well, and how many times do you meet those? Sorry, Jeff. How many times do you meet those guys though? Also, that are tradesmen that maybe went and got their contractor's license, or were in the sales and the marketing side and went and did that. So it takes a lot of work. It's such a broad spectrum of different things that you need to do in this industry, that you have to have some of those things set aside, and you have to make sure that you have the right people in place, because somebody that may just be a trades guy or a field guy may not be great at those communications, may not be great at talking to people and explaining why they do it. They know that they've done it for 30 years that way, but maybe they don't know how to explain that or make the customer understand that.
That's true. It all comes down to communication. Like, that's it. And it starts at the beginning and goes downhill, from the initial sales process to contract, to what's included, what's not included. And, we try to make a very clear area in our contracts. It's very specific as to this is included, this is not. This is extra, this is not. If you go this way or you go that way. And you're right, and being very upfront with the fact that there are going to be problems. I don't care who you are, but guess what? We'll be accessible, we'll respond immediately, and we'll handle the problems right then and there. And I think that's the biggest thing. So some people understand that, some people don't. Sometimes in the middle of jobs, people get this deadline in their head, and they're like, hey, October, I want a Halloween party, I want it done by then. You could say, your salesman or someone could say, yeah, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not happening, it's impossible. So,
Or it could happen. You can't isolate that. Hey, we could be done by this date if things go well, but there's just a whole litany of things that can go wrong, and surprises that nobody's seen coming. Like you open up a wall in a condo and somebody used Romex wire, and now you have to rewire 16 different things and rip out drywall that you never had a plan to, and all of that's going to push back a plumber, is going to push back an electrician, on their schedule, and it creates a train wreck. And you can't push a train, you can pull it.
Let's touch on this really quick, because I know what a lot of the audience is thinking right now, and what you said when we first got in here. I see a bunch of contracting companies in here right now giving a bunch of excuses, but it's not excuses. This is the real world. This is contracting. There are issues, like I said, and they are going to come up. But if we communicate it properly, if we set a timeline with you, we're going to try to follow that timeline. But the framer might have a situation where their crew might get sick, or last year, oh my goodness, COVID. I mean, that affected all of us in so many ways. I know we're going to transfer to that in here in a little bit. Once again, Brad and Drake aren't here to be talking about this.
I think that, the scariest part about COVID was the consideration of the liability. So what happens if I send a crew to somebody's house and then the old man of the home dies of COVID and they say it was my crew that brought it into the home. And so I was looking for government to give us some kind of a release of liability, to protect us from that liability, and that never happened. So I was very quick and clear to post public videos of me telling my teams, you will wear the masks, you will wear the gloves, you will wear the booties, you will respect what's happening in the world today. And, again, maybe it was a little overdone, maybe I got a little overexcited, but my teams did what we believed to be right at the time, and with that, the production never wavered. Thank goodness for the Tampa Bay Builders Association and the National Association of the Remodeling Industry and the Chamber of Commerce, and those who spoke up to keep our industry deemed as essential business. I had homes that were half torn apart. How was I gonna leave them in that condition for months to come? I had customers who had bought a home with intent on moving in a few months and needed that remodel complete. Otherwise, they're gonna continue paying a lease somewhere else or paying a mortgage somewhere else. So there were so many reasons why we had to keep moving, and thank goodness we had that ability to do so. The reality or the totality of the situation was that, you know, our sales went from doing 300,000 a month down to 240,000 a month. I mean, we took a significant drop, and you nailed it on the head. It was not just COVID related. Our customers are business owners, and their business might be impacted by COVID, but they were also politically charged, and we were in an election year, and I think a lot of our customers put their money on the sidelines, and that's why sales dove. Thank goodness that we had a large pipeline coming into it. We had, you know, $1.3 million worth of work to do before COVID started. By the end of it, you know, 600,000. That pipeline shrank dramatically. But now that, you know, restrictions have been relieved some and the world is opening back up for business, I found that the funnel is refilling itself very fast. So, you know, maybe we put some things on hold, but they're there. We didn't really waver in production, but we lost our opportunity to grow in that meantime. You know, I'm glad to be where we're at today, and I'm glad that we're able to see our way to the future and going
And I
forward.
think it's come back. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
probably better than it was. You know what I mean? At least that's what I'm noticing, and I'm seeing a lot more sales, a lot more leads in the pipeline, like you said, and just an overall abundance of.
And we live in Florida too, so we do have an advantage living in Florida that there's a lot of people moving here from other places. So we got in-law apartments being built
Since day one.
We're building office spaces or master suites or something so they can use their old bedroom as an office. So we get a lot of that income coming in. And one of the biggest effects I think of COVID had, our biggest problem usually before COVID was usually just finding good help. Well, a lot of us hire subs to do certain tasks. They have the same issue. They weren't exempt finding help. Now we're competing with the federal government on those employees. So they're competing with the government on those employees. They hire people, they bring them into your job. It's the first time they've hired that person. They mess something up on that job. They have to come back and redo it. And I think in the beginning, especially in the middle of last year, there was like a big drop off of people being on time for jobs and being where they were supposed to be, and it created a lot of friction.
So I have a realtor friend who's part of an advisory board in Pinellas County that says we are currently 600,000 units short of places to live. And there's a surplus of 900 people per day moving into the state of Florida. Probably a lot to do with the politics of the state, the fact that we stayed open for business, but being so attractive and having such a shortage of new housing coming in, obviously there's lots of opportunity for all of us in this industry. And now, what are we going to do to live up to that opportunity? Where are we going to find the labor? Because let's face it, old guys in our industry are retiring. The kids coming into the industry, they don't want to do physical labor. And so there's only a limited pool of people. And so I'm curious to learn what you guys are doing also as well to expand your resources and grow your efforts. And I'll start with saying we're looking out of state. I'm now going to be advertising with radio commercials in New York, Minneapolis, and Chicago, saying, are you sick of lockdowns? Are you sick of high taxes and high cost of living? The Sunshine State has lots of work waiting for you, and we're going to offer relocation bonuses to try to bring the talent to us. And if you guys have other ways of going about that, we'd love to learn. But this is a real challenge we're faced with, is we have a shrinking labor pool in a hot spot within the country that needs growth, needs development.
So just how we radius market to our clientele, we've been radius marketing to employees as well, doing the same exact thing. We're hitting hot spots up north, Chicago and so forth, saying, listen, there is working opportunities down here, and there's definitely opportunities to work down here and work with the right people. And not just that, you're going to come in here and we're not just going to work with you or tell you what to do. We're going to show you what to do, because guess what? We know what's inevitable. We're not going to be able to work with everyone forever. Some of these people are going to spread their wings one day and they're going to want to fly and start their own business, and that is a perfect opportunity to work with companies like you see right here in front of you, because we're willing to teach those people so they can go off on their own one day and work on their own. And we know they're going to be loyal, and guess what? They'll share work just like you share work, or you share work, or just like you told me just a little while ago, they'd share work with us, because working with each other and piggybacking off one another is what wins, and what, like I always say, collaboration wins. So that's what we've been doing.
All right, yeah, if everybody is still watching, thank you for watching. No, this is a long video. But I'd like to take this moment to put a request out there. If you're a subcontractor that does mechanical, like air conditioning, framing, just do whatever it is, you're a granite installer, whatever it is that you do, and you really have skills. You got skills that you want to show off. There's 5 contractors here that would love to have a deeper pool to reach into and get projects done. And if you're good, we'll be sharing that information with each other, and we could be your one source for your entire business, and we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, Jason.
So a lot of people might be assuming that, you know, contractors are out there competing each other with choke holds for the best business. We're gonna undercut each other. The guy that undercuts the estimate is the guy who was ignorant to think about all of the factors that were gonna be involved in the scope of work. And maybe a lack of experience has, you know, not educated them onto the possibilities of what can become in a project. So with this group of professionals you've been listening to today, you have the best of the best in this greater Tampa Bay area, all not competing but collaborating together to share a common message that this is what to expect in the world of remodeling today. And if you're the subcontractor out there, and you should consider reaching out to any one of these businesses, because ultimately it connects you with all of these businesses, and the opportunities grow bigger and deeper all the time.
And running from that too, we're also looking for any kind of vendors that are suppliers that would be interested in giving us maybe some sort of a group discount, or even some kind of setup where we get first take on some materials and things like that when they do come in. A lot of the suppliers right now are on back order, and also they're only being allocated a certain amount of material for their building, or their business rather. So if there's somebody out there that would be willing to work with the group of us and would give us kind of that first pull, we're looking for you. So lumber, any type of the trades materials that we need, feel free to give us a shout.
Sweet. And I appreciate the whole concept of getting a discount and buying bulk and so forth. And I know right now you're going, if you're a trader, I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving you anything, bro. Everything's top dollar right now. But here's the truth. The truth is this: we're gonna pay top dollar, and we're gonna pay you for what you're worth, and we're gonna pay you what your value is. So we value engineer everything. We expect you to value price everything, and that's just the way it is. You help us, we help you, and I'm not gonna do 30-day net. We're gonna pay you as soon as the job's done. As soon as that passes inspection, that's how we've been paying people. That's how we've always been paying people. You finish the job, you do the job right, we're gonna pay you exactly when it's done, and that's how we do things. So we appreciate you. I thank all of you today for being here today. I really appreciate everyone, and I appreciate this losers that are so late right now. You need a mint, man. Drink Malhot is here. Look at that shirt. And Brad Bashan.
That shirt's nowhere near sexy.
So I just want, listen, I know he'll edit this and put this in later. You might not want to use it for that part, but
Just wait.
I'm just disappointed in you, man. Like, this was your thing, and you left us hanging.
It was Jeff's thing.
This is you. You're like, it's you guys.
Say something important. Say something important, man.
Damn, I don't know what to say. Okay, let's go. Drake Melhot, Southern Landscape Solutions here. Thank you for having me, all these great contractors. We run into the same issues that they do, and it's just been a struggle, you know, to keep material there, getting the plants at the proper size that they need to be, because they're pumping these things out of the nurseries, and the brokers are getting these tiny plants. Also, right now, with sod issues, getting jobs completed with sod, if we get a heavy rain due to the fields being flooded and this and that, drivers not being present, laborers not being present, it slows down the process some. We're working as fast as we can. We don't wake up in the morning and think, how can we delay this job? I personally take this home and take that stress home, and I try to figure out ways and solutions to speed this process up. Again, we speed up as fast as we can. We come up with new systems and operations to make it faster. And again, I feel blessed to be sitting with this table of people, because these contractors are the top in their industry. They kill it all the time. And thank you so much for being here.